All right, so here we'll talk about how to get an events section put into the home page. And first, I'll just show you how it's made, how to save an event section, how to insert it, check for responsiveness, like on mobile versus desktop, and just some other little odds and ends details. But first, let's just open the Sandbox up. That's where all of the little items that I build for the site live. You can see it's a draft, so it's not actually live anywhere. And it's going to take a little while to open, so I'm just going to go to where I've already got it open. Ta-da! And here we've got the upcoming event section. I've got it set up as just a simple 2-column layout. And it's got, your basic image that you can edit by just clicking the little pen. It's got an event title. You can edit by clicking the little pen, a subtitle there for the date and time, a passage, which I've kept at 324 characters. If you have it around 320 to 330, it's probably a good rule of thumb just to keep things lined up and even. You don't want to make one much longer than the other, just for the sake of layout and keeping things nice and consistent. And then you got your button, which is simple to edit the text on the button. And you can click here to search the page you want to make, or just enter a custom URL that'll take you directly to wherever you want that button to go, like a shop page where they can buy tickets, or a blog page where they can see a story about the event, or whatever it is you choose. But let's talk about saving containers so we can insert them in other places. So to do that, we'll just go up here to where it says add container. We'll get our library of options, and save container will always have that little drive looking icon. You can see them for elements. You'll get a little drive looking thing that'll let you save the element, or you can do the same thing with a column. There's a little drive looking thing, but we're going to save this container. And you'll see it'll come up in the Avada Builder library containers. And I'm just going to save this as upcoming events, 2-column container template. And I'm not going to save it as global, because that means if I put it somewhere and put it in another place, any change I make in one place will change the other place as well. We don't want that. We just want to save it as a template. And there we go. Now we see it among our list of containers. Okay. Now, in order to make the changes, that's pretty self-explanatory. But let's say you wanted to make a third event and you wanted them to stay in this one row. So you want to have 3 columns instead of 2. Well, to do something like that, I would recommend first cloning what you have. Don't really ever, in a Sandbox page, you don't really ever need to uh, write over or change something you've already done. You can always just make a copy of it and then work with the copy. And then here you'll notice that our columns are designed to be 45% of the width. So together they make 90%, and then we've got a nice little 10% here of a gap. We're going to change that, since we want 3 of them, to be 1/3. And if you want your third one, all you got to do is use that handy dandy clone trick, and now you've got the same exact thing in a 3rd column. And let's say we want to save this. Well, we just go ahead and do what we did before. We've got upcoming events, 3-column container template. Oh, now let's say we wanted to insert this in another page. Let's say we want to put these in the home page. Well, all we'd have to do is go to our pages. The home page is on the second list right there. We can open it up in the live builder. So here's the home page, and here are the things that are already live on it. And let's say we wanted to replace this guy with our new containers. All we would do is add a container, we would select from our library of containers, and we'll see we've got the 2-column and the 3-column container. Let's just do a 2-column one for now. And then we can get this adoption event here by just going to the image, going to edit, finding the adoption event image, and then changing this stuff around, adding in the information as we go. I won't make you watch me do all of that, but that's the general concept. And then once that's all done, you can just go ahead and delete this container, and then you've got the upcoming events the way we want it. Now, I'm not going to click save here because this is the middle of the day and the home page is live, and this is not what we want it to look like. So instead, I'm just going to exit out of this and leave without saving. Okay. Now, as far as responsiveness, as far as making sure that this looks good on mobile as well as desktop, what you can do is go to the little icon up here where you'll see a desktop, a tablet, and a mobile portrait. Click on mobile portrait and you'll see that this 2-column layout was actually just changed to a 1-column layout on mobile. So the image takes up the full width, the text takes up the full width, and the padding is just kind of uniform. It's the way it was set up on the desktop view. You'll also notice that the where is it? Here we've got the 2-column section, upcoming events, 1 event, 2 events. That was our 2 columns. And then we've got our 3-column upcoming events, 1 event, 2 event, 3 events. You'll notice that they're formatted the same. The images are the same size. The width of the text is the same size, which is because basically when you're taking, it doesn't matter what it was sized on desktop, as long as it's taking up the full width on mobile portrait, it doesn't matter how many columns it was before. It's just every column is becoming a single column. So that's pretty much all you need to know there to make sure that things are working on mobile. Now, if you don't like the way some things are looking, you can, for example, go here and go to column options. You can make this padded smaller if you want. And when you go to desktop, those changes don't happen on desktop. They only happen on mobile. So if you have something you like the way it looks on desktop, but you don't like the way it looks on mobile, you can always go to that responsive option up there and change things. But for this purpose, it's really not necessary. This is basically just plug and play. You just go in, change the things the way you want them changed, and go to the home page and insert them. Now, the only other thing I might recommend to you is if you don't want to be inserting this on the home page and then making changes on the home page while you look at it, you can make your changes here, save the container, and then insert it in the home page after everything is done. The only thing you'll need to know about that is, say, if you say awesome event is happening. If you want this possum event, if you want this to show up on the home page, you're going to have to make it, save it, and then when you go to the home page, if you want to add it, you go to library of containers, but you'll notice it's not there yet because this has been open while that was being created in your other tab. You'll see it here because you just saved it, but you won't see it here until you refresh this page. Now, you didn't have anything to save, so you're not going to lose any changes doing it. But once you refresh the page and we go to add a container, we will now see the Possum event changed container that we created. Add container, library of containers, and there it is. And you can see this thing we made on the Sandbox page is now inserted here. So if you want to make all your changes on the Sandbox page, save them and then insert them in the home page so you can do things really quick and not have to spend too much time messing around in the home page, checking your error, seeing something you didn't like, going back and changing it. You could do that, or you can just put it in the home page, make your changes, and call it a day. But either way, just make sure you're only clicking save once you're absolutely ready to go. And since this is not what we want on the home page, I am going to close this out and leave without saving. Anyway, that's the deal. That's how to create containers, save them, and insert them.